Here is my review of The Northman, which is the new Robert Eggers film that just hit theaters this weekend. And there's been a lot of buzz about this film. How does it compare to Game of Thrones? How does it compare to some other films like Braveheart or Gladiator? Well, you're going to find out today. Now, to give you a little bit of background on Robert Eggers and what he's done in the past, he's done films like The Witch, which is considered a kind of contemporary horror film, which I enjoyed at the movie, but I would never revisit. And you also have the latest film that he did was The Lighthouse, which got a lot of buzz a couple of years ago. Had William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson in it. This film is probably his most straightforward, so if you've seen his other two films, you know that they're very weird and kind of bizarre. This movie does have some weird and bizarre scenes in it, but it is his most straightforward film. And I'm going to talk about something I compare it to, which is kind of weird here in a few minutes. But to give you a little bit of background on this movie, there's basically a star-studded cast. You have Alexander Skarsgard is playing Amleth. He's the main boy in the film. And if you've seen the trailers, I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. If you've seen the trailers, it's about him as a young boy, watch his father get killed, and his mom taken into captivity. And his father's played by Ethan Hawke. And it's great to see Ethan Hawke back doing stuff. He's in this, he's in Moon Knight, he's doing all kinds of things right now. So it's great to see him back on the screen. He does a great job. And you have Nicole Kidman playing his mother. So at the beginning of the film, his father gets killed, his mother gets taken into captivity, and he gets away from the people who killed his father. And he swears he's going to avenge his father's death, save his mom, and kill the person who did the killing. Now, the thing about Skarsgård, which is interesting, is this guy doesn't look like he's aging at all. He was in Tarzan. It came out about 5 years ago. And he still looks the same. He likes playing these man's characters. And what I will tell you about this film is, first of all, there's no woke message in it. I'm surprised the woke crowd isn't out there right now totally trying to destroy this film, because this film has a ton of testosterone in it. Like, this is definitely a man's film. And it's an enjoyable film. Would I call this an incredible film? Let's talk about the look of the film overall. First of all, does this reach the level of something like Game of Thrones? Not exactly. And I think Game of Thrones has actually ruined cinema and TV because of how high the production values were. I'm not talking about the content of the show or anything else, but I'm talking about the look of the show and the production values. The amount of money that HBO spent on that show, everything is going to be compared to it going forward. And this movie almost reaches a level of that, but feels much smaller in scope. And then you've got stuff like Braveheart and Gladiator. Those are more mainstream films. This film is not going to be mainstream like that. There were a few scenes in the film where I kind of thought it was a little bizarre and almost laughed. And there was one scene I did laugh at, and nobody else in the theater laughed with me, which I thought was kind of funny. At times, it was really interesting when he finally does get back to avenge his father's death. It's a long, drawn-out process, and it's very meticulous, and it's very well, executed on film. And what I will tell you is there were at times when he was doing what he needed to do to get to his father's killer, it seemed like a Friday the 13th movie where it turned into a horror film as he's going after certain people. And it felt like a Friday the 13th movie. So this movie is very interesting. It's got kind of a Game of Thrones vibe. It's got a Friday the 13th horror vibe, which makes sense considering Robert Eggers did stuff like The Lighthouse and also The Witch. So let's talk about my score on this film. It's enjoyable, and I really liked the finale in this film. Like, it has a really good finale. You see it coming from a mile away, but it's still really enjoyable. Is this a movie I would watch over and over again? No. I might add it to my collection when I can get it for $5 or less. But I'm not going to pay full price for it. I wouldn't go back to the movies and see it again. I saw Gladiator numerous times. This is not like that. It's not that grand of a film. It's not mainstream. If you know Robert Eggers, you know what you're getting yourself into. But it is still his most mainstream film, like I mentioned before. So let's talk about my final verdict on this film. Out of 5 stars, I give it 3.5 out of 5. It seems like I'm giving a lot of 3.5s recently because it takes a lot to reach a 4 or a 5 for me. 4 is something I would buy as soon as it gets released and add it to my collection. 5 has to be something special. And to give you an idea of what I would give a 5, Captain America Winter Soldier is a 5. It's the only Marvel film I've ever given 5 stars to. The Dark Knight, Batman Begins. These are 5-star films to me. The Road to Perdition, Hell or High Water, Wind River. These are kinds of films that I really enjoy and think are solid, and I've added to my collection day one, and are films I would watch over and over and over again. This is not one of those movies, but it's still enjoyable, and if you want to go and have a great time and go see a film because nothing else, catches your eye, it's worth going to see. So again, at the end of the day, 3.5 stars. If you guys have seen it, please let me know your thoughts. And if you like the video, please hit the like button, share my video, subscribe. It helps. I'd like to get to the stage where I can get to see these movies early so I can get my reviews up. And it's the main reason I set up my channel. I still am going to continue to do all DC stuff on my channel, but the movie reviews are going to be here, and they're here to stay as well. So if you're here for the ride, I would appreciate the subscription, and also let people know about my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, we'll see you guys. I got several more reviews coming this weekend. I do appreciate it. I'm going to be off to see the new Nicolas Cage film with Pedro Pascal. I've been looking forward to that one for a while, and I will be doing a review on that later today. So keep an eye on my channel. If this review is up, more than likely the other review is going to follow it. And if it's past the weekend, they're both going to be up. So I'll actually leave a link for it in the description. So after I see it, I'll leave a link for that in this description. I'm going to leave a link for this video in the description for the massive weight of Unbearable talent. So I will have those reviews this weekend, and then I have a couple of others coming as well. All right, we'll see you guys on the next review.